These four best ball stacks are pure fantasy fuel, explosive upside, league-winning playoff paths, and built-in value. Nail one now or you'll regret it in December and January. This is the RotoWire Fantasy Football Draft Series, sponsored by Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football Draft Giveaway. Stacking. Why does it matter in best ball? You don't want to play simple math, plus and minus. You want to multiply. You want to make your points exponentially grow. Find offenses that you know are ready to explode but are undervalued in drafts. That's where you take advantage of market inefficiency and find your way to winning that massive prize awaiting you at the end. Let's start out with the Dallas Cowboys. Love this stacking idea. The defense does not project to be very good. It'll be okay, but the Cowboys are going to need to score points. But what's even better? The lack of a sustaining running game. Jaden Blue, meh. Javonte Williams, please. This team is going to have to pass to have any chance of competing. And guess what? Dak Prescott is up to the challenge. In the last 5 years, we have seen Prescott with a quarterback 2, a quarterback 3, and a quarterback 7 finish. Yeah, I know the other 2 years were terrible, but Prescott can and has gotten it done. You can get Prescott outside the top 12 quarterbacks, making him an easy player to stack. Receiver, look, if you don't get that mid-first round pick where you can get CeeDee Lamb, that's fine. But if you do, that's beautiful. Either case, if you get Lamb, if you don't get Lamb, George Pickens, get him outside the top 24 receivers, maybe even outside the top 30. George Pickens should fit in with this high-powered Dallas passing attack. He can win vertically over the middle, very strong after the catch. Great addition. And, of course, the tight end, Jake Ferguson. Dak Prescott has always loved throwing the ball to his tight ends. And Jake Ferguson, look, played with Dak 7 games last year. In 3 of those games, at least 70 yards for Ferguson. Pickens helps the situation here. Pickens and Lamb opening things up. Ferguson should have plenty of room to operate in the middle of the field. And if you're feeling frisky, take your dart throw on Jaden Blue or Javonte Williams. Whoever you think will be the passing down back. Javonte Williams, a better pass protector. Jaden Blue, probably more explosive as a pass catcher. If you're going to take your lottery ticket, take it on Blue, see if that clicks. But otherwise, I would just stick with the passing game components and call it a day. Next, the San Francisco 49ers, a beautiful team to stack. This defense has been losing pieces of their infrastructure for the last few years. I'm expecting this defense to be middling at best. And who better than Coach Kyle Shanahan than to dial up an offense that's going to just keep up with any deficits the defense has? Start out with Brock Purdy. You get him around quarterback 12 so you can wait on the position and still get yourself a piece of this big offense. Now, in terms of the big investments, Christian McCaffrey, you probably got to get him with a late first, early second round pick, depending where you're picking in your draft. And obviously, if you pick at the beginning of a round, it's going to be tough to do. But don't discount the idea in a best ball league of saying, I have the 4th or 5th pick. I really want to make the stack. You might make it happen because think about this. We could take the long view on McCaffrey and say, oh, in 3 of the last 5 years, he's missed over half the season. But you can take the short view. In 2 of the last 3 seasons, he's played every game. Last year, injury wasn't really football related. Achilles tendonitis. McCaffrey's fully healthy now. Doesn't have a lot of tread on the tire for a player that's played as long as he had, about 168 carries a year. The team is going to use him all they can as a runner and a receiver. McCaffrey has been the running back 1 or the running back 2 in the last 4 full seasons he's played. Take the chance. Could win you your best ball league. Tournament. At tight end. George Kittle's the tight end 3. Definitely worth taking. Now, the targets are usually 84 to 90. That's been pretty much fixed. But look, if Brandon Ayuk, who's already potentially on the pup, going to miss 4 games, maybe Kittle gets a little bump. But even if he doesn't, we saw last year, he got it done week after week. Kittle's definitely the player to target. And at receiver, take your chances. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, both going wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 4s. Both will play. Ayuk's going to miss some time. Either one has a potential high upside. You want to get real crazy, Ayuk is probably going to see his ADP fall as news of him missing time becomes more pronounced. You could even take a late dart on him, use him for the playoffs, and see where that goes. All right, football legends, are you taking your draft to Las Vegas? You should, because the Circa Resort and Casino is giving one lucky league the ultimate fantasy football experience, a 2-night stay, a VIP party at the Legacy Club, and your draft at a private cabana at the stadium. Swim, limo rides, massive screens, DJs, your own booth at the world's largest sports book. I've been there, done that. It is all you can imagine and more. Must be 21 or older to get into this. Get the details at circalasvegas.com. If you're going to draft like it matters, only at the Circa. All right, next team in the stacks for best balls, Chicago Bears. It seems the fantasy draft community is half in, half out on the Bears. You can pounce on this. Caleb Williams. He did not get help from coaching last year. He did not get help from his offensive line. Things are changing fast. Ben Johnson did wonders in Detroit running the offense. Offensive line addressed in the offseason. Position of strength, no longer weakness. DJ Moore, superstar. Rome Odunze, underused last year. Maybe that player we really expected to pop last year will be there this year. 10th pick in the draft, Colston Loveland. You can invest in all of these players at bargain prices. DJ Moore often going as the 20th receiver off the board, yet he was the wide receiver 6 and the wide receiver 14 in the last 2 years. Rome Odunze, you can get him a little bit outside the top 24 receivers. We know the talent profile. This could be a team that has 2 top 18 receivers. Odunze, part of the solution. Colston Loveland, dealing with some preseason injury issues, expected to be fine, expected to be a big part of the offense. Around tight end 10, this is really good pricing. And Caleb Williams, as I mentioned earlier, with all this going his way, you get him as a borderline quarterback 1, around quarterback 10. This is very, very affordable. And then you want to dip your toe in the running back pool? DeAndre Swift going just outside the running back 2 range. He is going to see all the volume he can handle. And don't forget, Ben Johnson may get him involved more as a receiver than he's been. This is a stack that I love. Finally, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year, Liam Cohen ran the offense. Everything was perfect. The offensive line, outstanding. The play calling, the motion, all worked. Cohen's gone. But you still might want to buy in on the Buccaneers because you have Mayfield, you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin back from injury, veteran group. They learned a lot last year. Mayfield has been trending up the last 2 years. Mayfield, quarterback 6, you got to pay up a little bit for him, or quarterback 7. But if you're going to build your team around the stack, make the move. Now, I don't know about the Bucky Irving stance, but if you're going to invest in this team, you got to spend a second-round pick to get Irving. That seems a little aggressive, but again, if you're going all in, second half of the season, Irving was averaging 88 yards a game on the ground. So if he continues that, you're in great shape. And then Godwin, Chris Godwin, you get him around wide receiver 30, reach up a bit. He was at a wide receiver 15 pace last year. And again, Cohen's gone, but Baker Mayfield has a great history of working with the tight end, going back to Jarvis Landry in the Cleveland days when Landry was averaging about 990 yards. Mike Evans and Godwin might be a bit much together. You can invest in Evans. Now, remember last year, though, Godwin was significantly out-targeting Evans and out-producing him. So I like the Godwin angle on this, but you certainly can't go wrong with Mike Evans, a little more expensive. You want to take that later shot, Emeka Egbuka, get him outside the top 40 receivers. If he ends up popping as the first-round pick he was, that could be the cherry on top for this Buccaneer stack. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to enter Circa's ultimate fantasy football draft giveaway. You just go to circalasvegas.com.